The Sixers take on the Blazers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Philadelphia is -5, totals 219.5. And following a despicable day of premium sports picks on BrockPage.com yesterday, we are still 6-2 in our last 8 board member tier package picks on that very same website. And the good news is we have another board member tier package pick going off here this evening. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 crowd pleaser teasers on that very same website. And if you want to access today's crowd pleaser teaser, it's only going to cost you just $9.99. Now, we finished the month of October with over 950 members who were signed up and active on that page. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on this channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at BrockPage.com. Now, the Sixers are leading the NBA in offensive field goal percentage. Joel Embiid's averaging 21 points a night, along with 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Meanwhile, Seth Curry's draining 63% of his three-pointers. Curry's averaging over 15 points a game as well. Philadelphia's in the top 3 in the association in shooting the 3-ball. They're taking on a Portland squad who's winless on the road this year, and they rank in the bottom 3 in road points allowed. Meanwhile, offensively, Portland's making just 27% of their three-pointers when traveling. And when it comes to the total in this one, 7 out of these teams' last 10 meetings got over the number. 2 out of Philly's last 3 got over the line themselves, throwing out the Atlanta game. I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia -5 in the over 219.5. Next game, Cavs, Hornets, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Charlotte's -5, totals 221.5. The Hornets have won 2 out of their last 3 ball games, 5-2 against the spread overall for the season. The Hornets are leading the NBA in scoring on average per game. They're also drilling nearly 45% of their three-pointers at home. LaMelo Ball's draining over 41% of his 3 balls, 18 points and 6 rebounds a game for Melo. Meanwhile, Gordon Hayward shooting 50% from beyond the arc himself, 18 points a game and 4 rebounds for the forward. Now they're taking on a Cleveland squad who's on a 2-game losing streak, and they rank in the bottom 3 in the league in shooting the 3-ball. The Cavs are also averaging only 101 points a game on the road. Now total-wise, Charlotte saw 3 out of their last 4 get over the number. They're also 71% to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward Charlotte -5 in the over 221.5. Next game, Spurs, Pacers, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Indiana's -2.5, totals 217. But despite being favored in this one, Indiana's on a 4-game losing streak. And they also find themselves 1-6 straight up overall for the season. Brogdon, LeVert, and Martin, they're all listed as questionable. Jeremy Lamb is doubtful. The Pacers are scoring just 101 points per night at home, and they're shooting only 31% from beyond the arc. They're taking on a Spurs team who successfully covered the point spread in their last 2 straight, and they're also allowing only 99 points a game when they travel. Now, DeJounte Murray, he's averaging over 2 steals a game defensively, 8.5 rebounds a night as well. And of course, Murray's the team's leading scorer, and he's averaging nearly 9 assists a game as well. Now, Keldon Johnson, he's averaging over 15.5 points a game himself, along with 5 rebounds. San Antonio's in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage. When it comes to the total in this one, the Spurs are 8-2 to the over in their last 10 against an Eastern Conference opponent. They also went 4-1 to the over in their last 5 meetings with Indiana. I'm going to lean towards San Antonio +2.5 in the over 217. Next game, Wizards, Hawks, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. Atlanta's -5.5, totals 221. Atlanta's on a 2-game losing streak, 0-3 against the number in their last 3 straight. Atlanta's in the bottom 10 in fourth quarter scoring. They're taking on a Washington team who's on a 3-game winning streak themselves, and they covered the number in 5 out of their last 6 games. Despite the absence of Thomas Bryant and Roy Hachimura, the Wizards are led by Bradley Beal, who's scoring over 24 points a night, along with 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Now, of course, can't forget to mention Spencer Dinwiddie, who's making 41% of his three-pointers. He's also shooting over 95% from the stripe. Now, Spencer's averaging nearly 20 a night as well. And when it comes to the number in this one, Washington went 3-0 to the under on the road. Atlanta's 4-2 to the under for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward Washington plus 5.5 and the under 221. Next game, Raptors, Knicks, 7:30 Eastern start time. New York's -7, totals 208.5. The Knicks are on a 3-game winning streak, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. New York scoring 118 points a night at MSG, and they're drilling 41% of their three-pointers as a team. Evan Fournier is making over 45% of his 3 balls, 17.5 points a game and 3 rebounds a night for Evan. Meanwhile, Julius Randle's averaging nearly 21 points a game himself, along with 11 boards, 6 assists. New York's in the top 10 in offensive rebounding at home. They're taking on a Toronto team who's scoring only 103 points a game. And they also rank in the bottom 5 in first quarter scoring. Toronto's still going to work without Siakam and Watanabe. When it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of Toronto's last 4 got over the number. 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Knicks. While New York's 4-2 to the over for the entire season, I'm going to lean toward New York -7 and the over 208.5. Next game, Bulls, Celtics, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. Boston is -2, totals 217. The Celtics lost their last 2 straight, 2-4 straight up overall for the season. Boston allows more points per contest than any other team in the association. They're giving up over 118 points a night, and they're in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. Now, they're taking on a Bulls team who won 5 out of their last 6, and they went 5-1 against the spread during that span. Chicago's allowing only 98 points a game, and they're in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball, they're averaging a couple of steals a night. Nikola Vucevic, 9.5 defensive rebounds a game as well. Meanwhile, scoring-wise, Levine and DeRozan, they're both scoring over 23 points a game respectively. When it comes to the number in this one, 3 out of Chicago's last 4 fell under the total. Boston went 2-0 to the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward Chicago +2 and the under 217. Next game, Nuggets, Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Memphis is -2, totals 215.5. The Grizzlies dropped 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They're allowing 117 points a night, and they rank in the bottom 3 in defending the 3 ball. They're taking on a Denver team who's in the top 3 in offensive field goal percentage. Nikola Jokic is scoring 24 points a game, 14 boards, 5.5 assists for the Joker. Jokic is also making over 42% of his three-pointers. Will Barton's getting 15 points a game himself, along with 4 boards, 3 assists. Meanwhile, defensively, Denver allows fewer points per contest than any other team in the NBA. They're holding their opponents to just 96 points per game. Now, total-wise, Denver's last 2 straight fell under the number. 5-1 to the under in their last 6. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies saw 2 out of their last 3 fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Denver +2 and the under 215.5. Next contest, Magic, T-Wolves, 8 o'clock East. Minnesota's -8.5, totals 215. But as bad as Orlando's been, the T-Wolves have also failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Minnesota's scoring only 102 points per contest at home. They're in the bottom 3 in home offensive field goal percentage. They're also struggling to rebound the ball defensively. They're in the bottom 5 in the league in defensive rebounding. They're taking on an Orlando squad who does have the ability to shoot the 3 ball. They're in the top 10 in offensive three-point percentage. Cole Anthony's making over 42% of his three-pointers, 17 points a game and 7 boards for the guard. Meanwhile, Franz Wagner is making 44% of his 3 balls himself, 13 points a game for Wagner. Now, defensively, Orlando's doing a pretty good job of getting rebounds. They're in the top 5 in defensive rebounding. Now, Moore and Carter Williams, they're still out. Harris is questionable. And when it comes to the total in this one, Minnesota's 5-0 to the under in their last 5 straight. 4-0 to the under officially at home. I'm going to lean toward Orlando, -8.5. And the under 215. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup. It is going to be Thunder versus the Clippers, 10:30 Eastern tip-off. LA's -11, totals 210. The Clippers are on a 2-game losing streak, 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. LA scoring just 103 points a game at home. They're making only 29% of their three-pointers there. Meanwhile, defensively, LA's dead last in the association in defensive rebounding. Ibaka, Morris, and Preston are out. They're taking on an OKC team who successfully covered the point spread in 2 out of their last 3. The Thunder's in the top 10 in fewest fourth-quarter points allowed. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is averaging 22 points a game along with 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Meanwhile, Lou Dort is averaging over 11.5 points a night himself. 3 boards, couple assists for Dort. OKC's 3-0 to the under when traveling. LA's 4-1 to the under for the whole season. I'm going to lean toward OKC +11 and the under 210. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 6-2 in our last 8 board member tier package picks. I like Philadelphia -5 over 219.5. Charlotte -5 over 221 and a hook. San Antonio +2.5 over 217. Washington +5.5 under 221. New York Knicks -7 over 208.5. Chicago +2 under 217. Denver +2 under 215.5. Orlando -8.5 under 215. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 6-2 in our last 8 board member tier package picks on brockpage.com. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 crowd pleaser teasers on that very same website. I'm going to lean toward OKC +11 in the under 210. With that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to Gerald Pulaski, who said earlier today, "Good luck today, pal. Great work. Let's cash a ticket today." And always great to see Gerald Pulaski in the comments section. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So that's right, guys. Today is a max value Monday. It's the first of the month. You're going to get absolute max value if you sign up today. Once again, we utilize the Patreon platform. So Patreon, they bill people the day they sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do get a membership here today, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of November. And as always, I tell folks, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. Doesn't get any earlier than the first of the month. Now, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content. There's a fly. How's there a fly? Did you guys see that? There's a fly. Man, I showered today. I don't know. Maybe I still stink. I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.